Hey guys, Stephen Tony here, and I am back with a new video. And this one is going to be a compare and contrast video to the two versions of the Testament of Dr. Mabuse, the original from Fritz Lang in 1933, and the 1962 remake. Now, a little backstory on how this classic came to be remade here. Basically, Artur Brauner, who was a big fan of Fritz Lang as a boy, he may he helped produced Lang's final three films when he went back to Germany, the Tiger of Eshnapur, the Indian Tomb, and finally the Thousand Eyes of Dr. Mabuse. But Browner couldn't convince Lang to turn the character into a franchise of sorts, so Browner went ahead on his own, and a dream of his was to eventually remake Testament of Dr. Mabuse because he had seen it in the theater as a kid and was really inspired by it. And he did try coaxing Lang out of retirement to make it, but Lang wasn't interested. Um, so he went ahead without him once again. Now, I should also include that I have watched both of these. The Lang original, I actually haven't watched in some time, but I still have very vivid memories of it, and I actually did watch the remake recently. I'm actually doing a write up of the box set of Dr. Mabuse for High Def Digest, which I will link in my community tab when it's finished and ready. So be on the lookout for that. That. So anyway, Browner's version is quite entertaining still, but it just it really lacks the atmosphere that Lang has here. Lang. Excuse me. Yeah. Lang with this film, he just there's this otherworldly atmosphere, at play. I mean, it's not, in any way a horror film or some kind of weird film, but, how Lang just shoots everything, his use of cinematography, his usage of images, and special effects, like you're in Berlin with like the film, but it just doesn't feel like the Berlin of history. Whereas, excuse me, with the remake, there's a more grounded feel. It lacks Lang's atmosphere. There's no sense of the macabre, of the fantastic, of the surreal. You know, um, it plays out more like a generic crime thriller, which isn't a bad thing at all. Um, you know, but just the artistry of Lang, what he brought to the film. I mean, um, Werner Klinger who's the director of this film. He was a bit more generic in his filming style, but there's a couple of really good surreal moments in and around the climax and then the actual end of the film that Lang definitely would have approved of. So like so yeah, it's a really you know um entertaining film, but it actually does lack to a degree what Lang himself brought to the character. Now, both plot lines are pretty much the same. Uh, Mabuse, having gone mad after his most high stakes scheme has failed, ends up in a mental institution under a doctor's care, and it's believed his reign of terror is over. He's no longer a threat to everybody, but certain individuals, are certain he's still at work, and lots of stuff, is happening that is unexplainable and inexplicable. So the first difference is how all of this investigating into Mabuse starts. In the 33 original, Inspector Lohman, played by Otto Wernicke, he gets a call from disgraced ex-inspector Hofmeister, who has actually been working undercover the last few months to expose this gang. But before he can tell Lohman his findings, a shootout occurs, and Hofmeister is found hopelessly insane and unable to talk. And thus Lohman begins his investigation, and he starts, putting the pieces together. Now, also in this version, he has yet to meet Dr. Mabuse, whereas in the remake, he has tangled with the evil genius before. In the first sequel to the series, The Return of Dr. Mabuse, and the plotline starts with Lohman, now played by Gert Frobe, realizing there's some connection with the rise and string of crimes, including murders and what have you, that bear Mabuse's signature, but he can't prove it because the man's locked up. The call from the disgraced colleague does still happen in the remake, but it comes later, and this time the character is named Flock or something along those lines, but he isn't as lucky as Hofmeister is, unfortunately. And that isn't a spoiler, by the way, because it happens, I think, under the hour mark it happens in the remake. So it's hardly a spoiler. Uh, so um, so yeah, like that's sort of the big jumping off point, like to how the action starts. Some of the characters like Inspector Loman and Doctor Mabuse are the same. Um, um, Wolfgang uh, Prize, who played him in the 1960s series, is actually better than Rodolph Kleinroga, who plays him here. Now, Kleinroga was mainly a silent film actor. I don't know how much work he did in like the sound era. I do remember checking it out like years ago, but now I'm blanking out on it. uh, because Kleinroga is mainly silent until his ghostly vision appears, like later, in this like really creepy voice, like with this really fantastic makeup, like where he almost looks like an alien from outer space. Space, which is like really well done, and like I said, is a testament to Lang's surreal, dreamlike cinematography, which we don't get in the remake much. So, but Prize, I do prefer his Mabuse more because he's more energetic. He's more lively in like the role. Not certainly that Kleinroga wasn't in the 22 silent that predated this film. But Prize, I think, is a more effective villain. He's a more effective madman type. And like Kleinroga, we don't see him in the films too much. But his presence is ever, hanging over the film. And also, Prize gets much better dialogue. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. His dialogue fits the character of the period very fine. Kleinroga's worked for the period, he made it. It probably wouldn't hold as much effect if repeated here, but both are strong pieces of dialogue. Praise just Prize just gives a little more oomph to his. Now, also in the film is the professor slash doctor treating Mabuse, and in the 33 film, it's a character named Professor Dr. Baum, played by Hungarian actor Oscar Brauner. And in the in the remake, he's Professor Poland, played by Walter Rella, who for spaghetti western fans played Murphy Alan Short in A Day of Anger. Both of these characters are fairly the same. Only difference is that Lohman first meets Dr. Baum after Mabuse has inexplicably passed away, whereas in the remake, Lohman meets him during the first waves of like incidents, telling Poland that he thinks Mabuse is still pulling the strings from his cell. Both Baregi and Rilla give solid performances, but I think Rilla's character comes off as slightly stronger than Baregi's Dr. Baum, because there's a point where both characters sense something is wrong. Baregi's Baum, can't stop it at all, whereas Rilla's Poland, tries very hard to, but but unfortunately is overwhelmed, and and all sorts of stuff starts to happen. And also both are shot in glorious black and white, which is well lent to the story, and it's crime thriller aspects. It's it's like undertones in the supernatural fantasy and very mild ends of horror. Yes, I do highly recommend both films. In terms of which film does it better, there's no question at all. Lang's version will, win every time. The main drawback to the remake, is that lack of eeriness. That only comes towards the end. And also a big difference with both is a character who gets caught up in all the crimes and wants to get out of it. In the 33 version, it's an ex convict who tries hard as he can to get out, and and faces a life or death moment. and in and in the remake, he's a boxer whose rise to the top is uh, gets taken away from him, and he ends up in this job that he slowly starts to realize is bad. Uh, so yeah, both are solid for sure. Lang is definitely the winner. Yeah. Brauner did try hard with that remake, but it just, it lacked that specialty, like only someone like Lang could give it. So yeah, that will do it for this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. Yeah. Please let me know. Please let me know in the comments which version you like. If you have seen them, if you haven't seen them, and are curious to check them, and are curious to say them, like what you thought, either version did better or worse, etc., etc. Uh, yeah. Please leave a like. It always helps out the channel. And if you haven't yet, and I would like to, please hit that bell. Excuse me. Please hit the subscribe button and bell notification button to see more content like this. And yeah, thanks again for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye.